I've been really into spiritual concepts lately, and today we get to explore something right up my alley.
Okay.
The Dwapar Yuga.
Yeah.
So we're going to be looking at excerpts from the Anurag Sagar by Kabir, and I have our expert here to help us navigate these fascinating waters.
Fascinating text, no doubt.
Yeah.
Imagine a world that's increasingly losing its spiritual center, where people are so easily misled. That's the essence of the Dwapar Yuga, as described in the Anurag Sagar.
It's giving Lost in the Matrix vibes.
In a way, yes, but it goes beyond just technology. The Anurag Sagar talks about a decline in virtue, a rise in negativity.
Right.
Almost as if humanity is drifting further and further away from its true nature.
Which connects to the whole concept of yugas in Hindu cosmology, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about chronological periods.
Think of it more like a spiral.
Okay.
Each yuga represents a stage in a much larger cycle of spiritual evolution and devolution. Right. We begin in the Satya Yuga, the age of truth and enlightenment.
Right.
But with each successive yuga, things get a little denser, let's say.
A bit more chaotic. We get a little bit more bogged down by the material world and lose sight of the spiritual.
And that's where we find ourselves in the Dwapara Yuga, a time when representing the negative forces starts to dominate.
So this is where Sat Purush, the true being, kind of enters the picture.
Yes.
I was really struck by his concern for humanity in this text.
Yes. Sat Purush sees these souls struggling, bound by Kal's illusions, and it's heartbreaking.
Right.
He pleads with Gyan, the embodiment of wisdom, to help free them. It's a really powerful image of compassion and the lengths to which the divine will go to guide us back to the light.
Okay, so we've got humanity kind of sleepwalking through this world of illusion, and Sat Purush desperately seeking a way to wake them up. And this is where things get really interesting, because the Anurag Sagar introduces this idea of Shabd, and it's not just sound right.
Not at all. Think of Shabd as the echo of creation itself. It's the primordial vibration, the essence of Sat Purush's word, imbued with immense power.
Okay, so imagine the Big Bang, but instead of an explosion, it's a sound, a vibration that kind of starts everything.
And that vibration that Shabd is within us, waiting to be awakened, it's the key to shattering the illusions of the Dwapar Yuga and rediscovering our true nature. And that's what makes the Anurag Sagar's message so powerful. It's not just about recognizing that there's an illusion, but actively seeking liberation from it.
And that's where I feel like Shabd comes in.
Absolutely. It's almost like a lifeline, wouldn't you say?
It is. The text even describes it as such.
Okay.
There's this desperate plea, Befray me, ho Shabd Parwani, which translates to liberate me, O Shabd, the essence of the divine word.
Right.
And it highlights that urgency
of connecting with that primordial vibration, that essence of truth, amidst the chaos of the Dwapar Yuga.
Which, let's face it, feels very relatable even today. We may not be battling demons with swords or whatever, but the distractions, the misinformation, the constant bombardment of, everything. It's very easy to feel lost in all the noise.
It is, and that's why the Anurag Sagar really emphasizes the Sahaj way.
Okay, so tell me more about that.
Okay.
What is the Sahaj way?
It's a path of gradual unfolding of inner realization over outward rituals.
Okay.
Imagine a flower blooming in its own time, without force or struggle. That's Sahaj, aligning with the natural order of things.
I see.
Cultivating this inner stillness, that quiet space within where you can begin to perceive that subtle vibration of Shabd.
That really resonates with me, especially because, I've been really trying to cultivate a sense of peace and balance. And it's so easy to get caught up in, the elaborate rituals and just thinking if I just do this, then I'll achieve enlightenment. But what you're describing is much more about the inner work, isn't it?
Exactly. It's about recognizing that the true transformation happens within the Anurag Sagar delves into the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. These qualities that really influence our state of being.
Okay, so remind me again about those.
Sattva is purity, harmony, light. Rajas is that action, passion. But sometimes that chaos and restlessness. And then there's tamas, which represents inertia, darkness, ignorance.
So it's like a spectrum of energy.
Precisely.
Okay.
And the Sahaj way is about transcending that constant pull of these gunas.
Okay.
Reaching the state of perfect equilibrium.
Finding that sweet spot.
Right.
Where you're not ruled by any one of them, but kind of existing in that harmony.
Exactly. It's about cultivating that inner balance.
Right.
That state that's free from decay and dissolution, a state of pure being.
Wow. That's beautiful.
But you know me, I always love a good story.
Of course.
And the Anurag Sagar is full of them.
Yes.
I'm thinking specifically about the story of Queen Indramati.
Oh, yes.
I found her devotion really striking.
Her story is a powerful one, especially in the context of what we were just discussing about, inner transformation versus outward displays.
Right. So for our listener who maybe isn't familiar with her story, walk us through it.
Okay.
Who is Queen Indramati?
So Queen Indramati is this powerful ruler, known for her piety and devotion. Okay. And when she hears that Gyan, the embodiment of wisdom, is passing through her land, she sends her servants to fetch him, hoping to, show her reverence, and maybe even gain some favor.
And very on brand for a queen. I'm the queen. I expect a certain level of deference.
Exactly. But Gyan, true to the principles of a sadhu, a holy person, refuses.
Wow, okay.
He explains that his duty is to serve all equally,
I see.
Not to cater to wealth or status. Yeah. A little bit of a bruised ego there. I can relate.
Don't we all? But here's where her story takes a really interesting turn. Queen Indramati, recognizing her own attachment to status and realizing the depth of Gyan's wisdom, she goes to him herself.
Okay.
And instead of getting defensive or demanding special treatment, she humbles herself.
Wow.
She washes and drinks the water used to wash his feet.
Okay, that's a powerful image. I know enough about the cultural context to know that's huge.
It is. For someone of her stature to perform such an act was practically unheard of, even taboo.
Right?
But she does it without hesitation.
Yeah.
It's a real testament to her genuine desire for spiritual growth.
Right.
Her willingness to cast aside ego and embrace true humility.
It really makes you think about how we often approach spirituality today. Yeah. There's this tendency to seek outward validation.
Yes.
To focus on the appearance of devotion rather than that true inner transformation.
It's a valid point.
Yeah.
Are we drawn to practices that align with our ego?
Right.
Or are we seeking genuine connection with something greater than ourselves?
Right.
Queen Indramati's story reminds us that true devotion lies in the sincerity of our hearts, in the willingness to let go of who we think we are, to embrace something far more profound.
It's about that inner connection.
Exactly.
Which seems to connect directly with the Anurag Sagar's idea of the inner throne. Right?
Exactly. One of my favorite metaphors in the text.
Okay.
The Anurag Sagar describes the heart as the true throne where God resides.
Right.
Emphasizing that the most profound connection with the divine isn't about grand gestures or external rituals.
Right.
It's about accessing that inner sanctuary of our own hearts.
It's about cultivating that inner awareness, that quiet space where we can actually connect with that divine presence without all the distractions.
And the text captures this beautifully.
Yeah.
Die Hände zu falten bedeutet, that you're in the Augen schaut.
Oh, God.
It means folding your hands means that you look into the eyes.
It's about direct perception, a heart-to-heart connection, not empty gestures.
Wow, that's beautiful and incredibly relevant in our modern world, which is so full of distractions. It's like we're constantly being pulled in a million different directions.
Exactly.
This idea of cultivating presence-focused attention, that stillness within, to actually perceive the divine in every moment.
Yes.
It's almost radical.
It is radical, especially since it challenges us to shift our focus from the external to the internal.
Right.
And this brings us to the concept of parshad, while often seen as simply blessed food.
Right.
The Anurag Sagar really highlights its deeper significance.
You mentioned earlier how the text emphasizes that original intent of parshad.
Yes.
But I'm curious to hear more about that, especially in the context of, what we've been discussing about inner transformation.
It's about recognizing the grace that's already present.
Okay.
The true essence of parshad isn't just about physical nourishment,
but about this transmission of grace, of spiritual energy.
So it's not about consuming something to gain a specific benefit or whatever, but about recognizing the sacred within that act of sharing and receiving.
Yes, it's about connecting with that sense of gratitude.
Right.
Recognizing the interconnectedness of everything.
Yeah.
And sadly, the Anurag Sagar seems to hint that the true meaning of Parshad might be getting lost.
Right.
Becoming almost transactional.
Like a spiritual vending machine.
Exactly.
I consume this, therefore I get that.
And that misses the entire point. It's not about what we get, but about cultivating that shift in awareness, a deeper understanding of that grace that already exists within and around us.
It all ties back to the Dwapar Yuga, doesn't it?
It does.
This yearning for truth that can so easily get misdirected.
But like the Anurag Sagar suggests, there's always a path back to our true nature.
This has been such an incredible journey.
It has.
Through these teachings, I feel like I have a lot to contemplate.
As do I.
So for our listener who, like me, is feeling called to kind of dive deeper into these ideas, what would you say is the most important thing to remember about navigating the Dwapar Yuga and cultivating that inner connection with Shabd?
The Dwapar Yuga is not a punishment, but an invitation.
Okay.
An invitation to move beyond those illusions of the material world.
Right.
To tune into that primordial vibration, that Shabd, that resonates within each of us.
Right.
It's about recognizing that the journey to truth is not linear.
I see.
And there will be moments of clarity and moments of confusion.
Right.
But the key is to keep seeking, keep listening.
Yeah.
And trust that the path will reveal itself one step at a time.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Until next time, remember, keep seeking, keep questioning,
yes,
and keep listening for that inner voice guiding you back to your own true nature.